Welcome to the Echo Tips Podcast. I'm David Ward, and today's topic is going to be Show and Tell, a brand new feature released on the Amazon Echo, especially the ones with a camera, in particular the Amazon Echo Show, first and second generation. So, Show and Tell, and this is going to be a specialty feature that really is designed to help those with visual impairments or who are in fact totally blind. And so, but I think many of you will find it very interesting, this new feature. But before we get into the details of that, we're going to take a brief break and let you tell you a little more about our podcast, and then I'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by the New Vision program at Goodwill. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission services help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Well, hello again. I'm David Ward, an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program here in Southwest Virginia for Goodwill Industries of the Valleys. And if you're the first time listening, it's a good thing to have you here with us today. And if you've been listening for a while, well, we're glad to have you back as well. Today, as I mentioned, our topic is going to be a unique new feature that was released around September 2019 from Amazon, and that's called the Show and Tell feature. And this is a specialty feature that's really geared towards those that are blind or have visual impairments. And so this may not be the best. It might not be the ideal feature for you, and if so, then feel free to skip this episode. But there's a lot of individuals with visual impairments that love to use their Amazon Echoes every day, and so this is a really kind of neat feature. So first off, probably I'm going to ask you to mute your microphone on your Echo so that when I say the A-Lady's name, we're not constantly tripping up your Amazon Echo at home. And we don't want to mess up that because you might be listening to this tutorial on that. So what you're going to need to do is if it's a cylinder type Echo or the Echo Dot, like a hockey puck, you'll find some buttons on top. You want to find the one with the silhouetted microphone with a slash through it, and you'll want to press that, and that will shut her ears off. And then that way, when I'm giving the instruction or saying the A-Lady name, she isn't responding. And similarly, if you have an Echo Show, along the top rim, if the front is facing you, there should be 3 buttons on the top, and the one on the far left should mute her microphone, and she'll make a thump sound. And for those with a typical one, it'll turn the ring red as well. Okay, so I'll just give you a second to do that. Okay. All righty, well, we'll press on then. So, what is this new Show and Tell feature? What is that all about? Well, it deals with object recognition. So you may have heard terms like facial recognition and barcode scanning and things like that. Well, this is a similar concept, except instead of recognizing somebody's face or a barcode and what the number is and looking it up in a database to tell you what it is, it recognizes a plethora of things, maybe the shape of the object, the coloring, certain maybe labeling that it might be familiar with, or symbols like stars or triangles, whatever, right? A variety of factors to compute what exactly it is that you're looking at. Now, those in the blindness community have used apps like this on their iPhones and Android phones for quite some time to maybe identify colors or to identify, I know I used one once when I was on vacation. Is this a bottle of shampoo at the hotel or is this a bottle of mouthwash? It makes a difference, right? So now, with the new Show and Tell feature from Amazon, a similar concept is available on your Amazon Echo, and that specifically applies if you have an Amazon Echo that has a built-in camera, the Show versions of the Amazon Echo. So at this time, there is a 5-inch, an 8-inch, and a 10-inch Echo. Now, the blog about this that Amazon released specifically stated that first and second generation Echoes are compatible. I have heard feedback that the Echo 5, the Echo Show 5, is maybe not compatible, although they might be just rolling that out. It just hasn't happened yet, so I'm not too sure. But it'd be something to ask about if you were thinking about getting a device that does this. But no further ado, let me just demonstrate how this works. So I have here in studio an Amazon Echo Show from our classroom. This is the 10-inch model. And we're going to ask it this question, and you can ask the same question. It will give you, if it's the first time you're doing it, it'll give you a little tutorial about how the feature works. But in fact, it's pretty cool, and I got some canned goods in here with me right out of my cabinet, so hopefully that will help us too, and we'll see how accurately we can do that. First, let's hear the little tutorial. Alexa, play Show and Tell tutorial.
Here are some instructions. First, locate the camera embedded at the top middle of the screen, just under the middle button. Second, hold your item about a foot away and about a foot above the countertop or table, centered with the camera. Next, you'll hear sounds to help you position your item. First, a soft tone will tell you that the camera is on. Start moving your item around slowly until you hear beeping, which means the camera can see your item. Then, hold your item steady and show the camera different sides, pausing for a second or two for the camera. Finally, I may provide tips to help you position your item along the way. If you'd like to hear more on how this feature works, say, Alexa, more help on Show and Tell.
Okay, so hopefully that gives us all a little idea. You'll hear the tone, that means the camera is going, and if you hear the beeping, then that's good, because that means it's detecting the object. And as it said, about a foot above, off the table, and then about a foot in front of the camera that's in the top center of the Echo. All right, so let's give it a try. I got in my hand a can of Campbell's Chunky, I think it's Italian, meatball, but we'll see here. We'll see if we can figure out what it is. And all we have to do is say, Alexa, what am I holding?
Let's see. It looks like Campbell's Chunky soup packs.
Okay, so there it is. It gave me soup packs. Now on the screen, I have the screen reader enabled. That's a feature for the blind that allows me to touch the screen in it to read more information. So I'm going to touch the section down here, see if it gives me some more details.
Campbell's Chunky soup packs. Try Alexa. Go back. Ready to eat soup, packed with hearty meatballs, carrots, spinach and enriched pasta. Enjoy the comforting flavors of this Italian classic vertical bar. 15 grams of protein. Each can contains 15 grams of protein. Fill up right vertical bar, great for active lifestyles. Each bowl is an easy and delicious way to satisfy your hunger after the big game or after a workout.
Alexa,
vertical bar, heat and
go home. Okay, so there we go. So I did some flicking gestures to the right to get the full description. I might have verbally been able to command to just read what's on the screen. I probably should have tried that. But anyway, you started to get the description, the meatballs, and it was an Italian classic. So that tells me it's one of my favorites, the Chunky Italian meatball soup. So pretty cool. All right, so that gives you a little idea of how that works, and it's super powerful. I have another item here. Maybe we'll just give that a try as well. Alexa, what am I holding?
Let's see. It looks like Rosarita enchilada sauce.
Oh, it was close. It is El Risa, but it's actually refried vegetarian beans. Let me see if I flick here, if it'll give me.
Try Alexa. Go. Indulge in a variety of traditional Mexican-style dishes with Rosarita enchilada sauce vertical bar. This tomato-based enchilada sauce has a mild
Alexa,
heat level vertical bar.
Go home. Okay, so for those of you that aren't familiar with the Echo Show, it's displaying it there on the screen, and I was using some gestures to get around with Voice View to read the additional info. It even shows a little picture of what the can might look like up there. Now, it slightly got this one a little wrong, but I know enough about what should be in my cabinet to know what it means. It got the brand name right, and that was all I really needed to probably know to figure that out. Plus, it's making a lot of improvements. So maybe some additional information about this. Amazon's app on some of their smartphones does allow for barcode reading. Maybe at some point in the future, it will be able to scan the actual barcode, and that might give it more precise information. Plus, and this is something I would really love, if it popped up and said, would you like some more Campbell's Chunky Soup? That would be super. And then I wouldn't have to hunt on the grocery store aisle to try and find it. But you could just maybe order some more. So super powerful, free tool built into the Amazon Echo Show line. And like I said, if you're curious about exactly which ones support it or don't support it, you might want to correspond with Amazon about that as well. So that sums these things up for today. Next episode, we'll be looking into some more information. We're going to talk about resurrecting reminders. Maybe you have a reminder going off at this exact moment, but you're washing dishes at home or you're in the middle of something and you know it's important. You don't want to forget it. So is there a way to postpone it, to push it back a couple of hours, or to more or less resurrect it? Because usually reminders die and then they clear automatically. But is there a way to bring it so that it'll come maybe in an hour when you're free, remind you to do whatever the thing is? So we're going to look at that in our next thing about postponing reminders. Until that time, it's time to turn your microphone back on your Amazon Echo, start practicing some of the many things that you've learned, and I'm David Ward signing off for the New Vision program at Goodwill, and we thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. In conclusion, let me tell you a thing or two. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and it is also made possible in part by a grant from Community Foundation serving Western Virginia. And there's more. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. For more information, check out our website at goodwillvalleys.com/newvision, with no spaces. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission programs help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Thanks for listening.